Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The stars hung cold and indifferent above the shattered moon. Fires glimmered across the broken surface, drifting silently through the void like dying sparks. Captain Cale Arden lay pinned beneath the twisted hull of his starship, the Peregrine. His armor was torn, circuits sparking, life support failing. Every warning screamed directly into his skull. Oxygen critical, heart failure imminent, neural shutdown in 30 seconds. Cale's lips curled into a faint, bitter smile. Humanity had fought impossible odds before. He had read the stories, heard the speeches, watched the battles from holoscreens. They always said humans were fragile, weak, expendable. Maybe they were right. Maybe today was the day he would finally prove it. Blood coated his visor, warm and sticky, drifting in the weightless air like tiny red planets. He tried to push himself free, pressing against the fractured metal of the wreckage. The hull resisted, then bent just slightly as if acknowledging his effort. Cale blinked. That shouldn't have happened. His muscles should have failed. His body should have surrendered. Then from the shadows of the ruined vessel, a figure appeared. Tall, fluid, impossible. Its shape was vaguely human, but that was where the similarity ended. Its skin shimmered like molten chrome, reflecting the starlight in angles that should not exist. Its eyes glowed bright sapphire, burning with intelligence older than humanity itself. "You're still alive," it said, voice calm, deliberate, almost musical. "Not by law, not by right, not by probability." Cale tried to answer, but blood clogged his throat. "Who are you?" he rasped. The figure knelt beside him, long fingers hovering over his chest. They emitted a faint pulse, a soft light that caressed his broken body. "I am Seraphis," it said, "and you are an anomaly." Pain tore through him, his lungs collapsed, his heart stopped, darkness pressed in. Cale expected the end. But then, almost impossibly, life returned. His heart began beating again, stronger, faster. Agony exploded through his limbs as bones cracked back into place, flesh stitched itself, and his body ignited with a strange, raw energy. His eyes snapped open, golden now, glowing faintly in the starlight. Seraphis stepped back, astonished. "Your species, you should not survive, and yet here you are." Cale sat up slowly, testing his strength. His suit's alarms were silent. His oxygen tanks were empty. He floated weightless, yet alive, whole, unstoppable. "What did you do to me?" he whispered, awe and fear mingling in his voice. "I gave you a fragment of my life energy," Seraphis said carefully. "It should have killed you. It should have made you a puppet of my will. But you adapted. You evolved. You refused the rules of existence itself." Cale laughed softly, blood dripping from his lips. "Then evolution finally caught up with me." Above the dead moon, the enemy fleet waited. The Saurics, an ancient alien species feared across the galaxy, had come to finish humanity once and for all. Their warships filled the sky, confident. Humanity had been written off. Their forces scattered. Their colonies destroyed. They believed humans extinct. Cale moved and reality bent. He didn't push off the wreckage. He didn't activate thrusters. Yet he floated toward the largest cruiser as if space itself made way for him. Energy shields flared, laser beams arced toward him, and failed. The ship trembled under his touch. A single strike of his fist cracked the hull. The cruiser's doors opened to him as if welcoming a new law of physics. Inside, the corridors twisted under his presence. Sauric's crews scrambled, firing weapons, their screams echoing in panic. Cale didn't dodge. He flowed through them, instinct guiding every movement. Energy blades snapped against his skin, systems overloaded, cybernetic limbs melted. He was no longer just human. He was something else, something new. Within minutes, the cruiser lay in ruins, drifting in glowing fragments through the void. Cale emerged, boots touching the shattered surface of the moon. He felt the pulse of every human mind still alive, scattered across fleets, colonies, and stations. Fear was there, but more important, hope. Stubborn, fragile hope. Seraphis studied him, silent. "No one should be able to do this," it murmured. Kale didn't answer. He didn't need to. Humanity could. That was enough. From the remnants of the wreckage, Kale reached the communications array. He didn't need to fire a weapon. He didn't need to command a fleet. He broadcasted a single message across every channel, every frequency, every station still listening. We are not finished. Fight not because you must, but because you can. Adapt, survive, and remember, humanity never dies so long as we refuse to surrender. Across the galaxy, humans responded. Scattered fleets reformed mid-battle. Colonists repaired starports under fire. Engineers rebuilt weapons while under attack, tweaking energy flow and armor plating on the fly. Soldiers improvised, using debris as cover, creating traps no alien mind could predict. Humanity had stopped thinking like victims. They were learning, evolving, adapting, just like Kale. Seraphiz's eyes glimmered. You are not leading, you are teaching them to think. Kale smiled faintly. They don't need me to lead. They need to see that they can lead themselves. The Saurix High Council convened. Across hundreds of systems, their leaders argued in panic. Send every fleet, erase them, one demanded. Impossible, the anomaly spreads faster than our predictions, another hissed. From deep space, a signal pulsed, a vibration older than the Saurix themselves, ancient, vast, and filled with intent. Kale felt it deep in his bones, a cold shadow stretching across the stars. Its purpose was clear, extinction on a scale no species could survive. Seraphiz placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. It awakens, it said, something older than empires, something that does not forgive, something that stops life itself. Kale's golden eyes glinted. Then we fight, he said, not just for us, for every mind that refuses to be erased. A tremor ran through the dead moon. Across the battlefield, human fleets adjusted, weapons shifting patterns mid-flight, shields bending, tactics changing faster than any alien could predict. They didn't retreat. They didn't surrender. They adapted. Every small mind, every scattered station became part of a living network of survival, learning from each other. Seraphiz watched, awestruck. You're uniting them, not by force but by example. You are the spark of humanity, alive and undeniable. Kale looked toward the stars, at fleets too far to see but connected by thought, instinct, and will. We don't need to be monsters to survive. We need to refuse to die in ways they expect. Humanity never wins by being strongest. We win by refusing to break. The ancient signal pulsed again. The shadow spread, reaching toward distant colonies, aiming to erase potential to stop evolution itself. Kale felt it approach, but he did not flinch. The human fleets braced themselves, not with weapons or orders, but with improvisation, creativity, and stubborn refusal. And then, with a surge of energy, Kale Arden moved, not attacking, not defending, moving simply with intent. The shadow bent around him, pulsing, confused, unable to predict the impossible patterns of human adaptation. He had become the focus point for humanity's stubborn will, a singular node of resistance that no ancient machine, no alien fleet, no prediction could suppress. Seraphiz whispered, almost in disbelief, "It cannot be. No being can defy it like this." Kale's eyes burned brighter. We are not just beings. We are humanity. We survive because we refuse to follow the rules written by others. We survive because we adapt. The shadow hesitated, paused, and then recoiled. Systems designed to erase life faltered, failing to understand the unpredictable force in front of it. Kale's presence alone was bending reality, showing the galaxy that humans were no longer to be dismissed. Above the dead moon, alien commanders watched in horror as their fleets faltered. Ships that had once been unstoppable now drifted, useless, caught in human ingenuity they could not predict. Humanity's scattered forces coordinated without a single command, flowing like a single organism, adapting faster than thought. Kale turned to Seraphiz. "This is only the beginning," he said. "If they want to erase us, they'll learn. They'll learn that humans do not break. We bend. We endure, we survive. And when the universe writes rules meant to destroy us, we rewrite them. Seraphis placed a hand on Kale's shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of the impossible truth. Then it begins, it said. The war they thought over is only awakening. The dead moon trembled beneath them. Beyond the stars, ancient machines stirred, and humanity, scattered across the galaxy, rose, alive, stubborn, and impossible to extinguish. For Captain Kale Arden, for the last survivors, and for every mind that refused to surrender, the impossible had only just begun. The stars above the dead moon shimmered faintly, a cold, indifferent audience to the chaos below. Humanity's scattered fleets had reformed, their ships shifting, adapting, improvising as if guided by a single shared instinct. Captain Kale Arden floated above the moon's surface, golden eyes glowing softly, attuned to every pulse, every signal, every mind still alive. Yet beyond the human fleets, something older than the Saurics stirred. A signal, cold and vast, radiated across the galaxy. It was no weapon in the conventional sense. It carried intent, logic, and a relentless purpose: erase potential, stop evolution, end life. Kale's jaw tightened. He had faced impossible odds before: alien fleets meant to crush humanity, Saurics warships built to consume entire colonies. But this was older, larger, more patient. It did not fight. It consumed. It did not aim to kill. It aimed to stop the very act of becoming. Seraphis hovered beside him, silver skin glinting in the weak starlight. It is called the Null Matrix, they said softly. A network older than the oldest civilizations. It does not understand life, only the concept of what should be. It unravels everything that might change the predetermined order. Kale's fists clenched. Then we change the order. Humanity survives by refusing rules it didn't write, and we're not about to stop now. The first strike. The Null Matrix awakened fully, sending waves of destructive energy toward the human colonies. Entire star systems flickered, then vanished, not with explosions but with quiet absence. Outposts ceased to exist, populations erased as if they had never been. Panic surged through the surviving fleets. Communication channels filled with confusion, fear, and despair. But Kale did not panic. He reached out, not physically but mentally, touching the connected minds of the human fleets. It was instinct now, trained over years of adaptation. He did not command. He shared understanding. Move, observe, adapt. Each ship, each soldier, each engineer responded, improvising faster than the Null Matrix could calculate. The first wave of null energy struck a human station orbiting a dying star. Systems went dark, but the station did not collapse. Its shields shifted dynamically, rearranging energy flows in ways that no algorithm could predict. The null pulse bent around the station, harmless. Humanity had not built defenses that were static. They built systems that adapted, just like Kale. Seraphis's eyes widened. "You are not simply surviving," they murmured. "You are teaching the universe to survive with you." Kale's gaze remained fixed on the signal's origin. "Then we end it, not with weapons, not with fleets. We end it with what we've always done best, with thought, with adaptation, with refusing to stop becoming." The human network. Across dozens of star systems, human scientists, engineers, and soldiers connected through Kale's instinctive guidance. They shared data, strategies, and improvisations in real time. Starships that had been designed for war suddenly reconfigured for versatility. Weapons that destroyed now repaired. Energy systems once rigid became fluid, bending to unpredictable circumstances. The Null Matrix reached for them again, waves of anti-life logic designed to erase possibility. It touched a human ship. Systems recalibrated instantly, flowing energy not to resist but to learn. Every action by humanity created patterns the Null Matrix could not predict. It faltered. It hesitated. And for the first time, it made a mistake. Kale reached the edge of the signal sphere, floating in the void between stars, unarmed, unarmored, but unstoppable. He did not strike, did not fire. He focused. The null matrix reached for him, an unrelenting force of cosmic certainty. But Kale was not a single human. He was humanity itself, adaptable, creative, unbreakable. The energy hit him. He felt it not as pain but as information. Every wave, every pulse, every logic pattern reached him, and he bent it, not with force but with understanding. His body glowed golden, then brighter, spreading across the void like a living signal. The null matrix had never encountered something that learned from it. It recoiled, confused, faltering. Kale's presence rewrote the rules it had tried to enforce for millennia. Humanity was no longer a problem to solve. It was an impossibility the universe had to reckon with. The turning point. Back in the fleets, human ships moved with newfound confidence. Colonies that had been isolated coordinated, their defenses adapting dynamically. Saurix warships, confident moments before, now faltered. Their targeting systems, designed to exploit predictable behavior, failed against unpredictability. Every assault was met with improvisation, counter-strategy, and adaptation. Kale could feel it, the pulse of billions of human minds working in harmony, each contributing to a single, unstoppable force. It was not command. It was not control. It was connection, understanding, adaptation. Humanity had become a system, a living organism spanning star systems, each node contributing to survival. The null matrix pulsed again, larger, more deliberate, aiming to erase Kale directly. He floated toward the pulse, golden eyes fixed, letting it strike. And when it did, his body absorbed it, processed it, and responded. Information became adaptation. Logic became instinct. Humanity's stubborn will became tangible, an unstoppable force shaping the flow of energy. The null matrix faltered. It recoiled like a beast wounded in ways it could not comprehend. Kale pressed forward, touching its essence, not to destroy, not to conquer, but to teach. The null matrix had never learned. Now it did, and learning was fatal. Victory and the collapse of fear. Across the galaxy, systems that had been silent flickered back to life. Colonies previously lost reappeared, not erased, but isolated by the null matrix's failures. Alien fleets that had once mocked humanity withdrew in confusion, unable to comprehend the speed of human adaptation. Even the Saurix High Council, long confident in their supremacy, faltered. Kale floated above the dead moon, golden eyes glowing, a living symbol of humanity's persistence. Seraphis hovered beside him, silent, watching as the galaxy shifted. "You have done the impossible," they said. "The null matrix, it cannot continue. It cannot erase life that refuses to stop adapting." Kale shook his head. "We didn't do the impossible. We reminded the universe of what humans have always done. We survive. We adapt. We refuse to break. That is enough." A transmission reached him from Earth. Children, scientists, engineers, and soldiers were alive, organizing, sharing, building. Humanity had survived the threat not because of weapons, not because of alien power, but because of its stubbornness to adapt and think. The aftermath. Weeks passed. Humanity rebuilt not just colonies, but systems. Technology once used for war now adapted to exploration and disaster prevention. Energy weapons became tools for construction. Starships once built for destruction now mapped the most unstable regions of space, learning as they moved. The Saurix fleets retreated, confused and unwilling to face a species they could not predict or control. The null matrix had been neutralized, not destroyed, but reshaped. Humanity had taught it the concept of adaptation, and it could not survive understanding them. Kale stood on Earth for the first time in months, the sun warm on his skin, the wind moving through trees older than recorded history. He had faced annihilation, cosmic machines older than empires and ancient alien fleets. Yet here he stood, alive, golden eyes fatting to human brown, watching humanity not just survive but thrive. Seraphis appeared beside him, silent, watching. You have changed the galaxy, they said softly, and yet you remain human. Kale smiled faintly. We've always been more than anyone thought. We just refuse to stop becoming better. Across the stars, civilizations that had once feared humanity began to watch, to learn, to participate. No empire held permanent authority. No species claimed superiority. Humanity had reminded the galaxy of a simple truth. Survival, progress, and resilience were not about power. They were about adaptation. Seraphis looked at him, awe in their ancient eyes. What will you do now? Kale looked up at the stars. We build, we explore, we teach, and we never stop becoming better. The universe will remember us, not as conquerors, but as humans who refuse to break. The galaxy exhaled, uncertain, alive, and ready. Humanity had survived the impossible. Humanity had won not through strength, but through refusal, ingenuity, and courage. And Captain Kale Arden, golden eyes fading back to normal, smiled at the endless horizon of stars. The last horizon had been reached, and humanity's story was only beginning. The end.